What's up everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I will cover the third year of growth for the green giant evergreen tree. I planted 23 of these tiny trees 3 years ago. I previously made a video covering the first year of growth, and I made a second video covering the second year of growth. I put links down in the video description in case you're interested. First, let's do a quick recap. I selected this tree because it's advertised as the fastest growing evergreen on the market for instant privacy, with an advertised growth rate of 3 to 5 feet per year. I planted 23 of these trees and measured them every month for the last 3 years. I planted them 5 feet apart, as specified on fastgrowingtrees.com, which is where I purchased them. I also called them and was told that when spaced 5 feet apart, they should grow about 20 to 25 feet tall, and they can grow up to 40 feet tall if spaced 10 feet apart. And I'll also point out that I'm in the USDA Hardiness Zone 6. I planted the trees in May 2021. They started out at 13 to 25 inches tall and ended at 20 to 42 inches tall, which was 5 to 19 inches of growth that first summer. I covered them with burlap for the winter because the deer were eating them. The second year, in 2022, they started out 20 to 36 inches tall and ended 31 to 63 inches tall, which was 10 to 31 inches of growth for the second season. And I put up a net fence for the winter to protect them from the deer, and it worked well. So here we are in April 2023 for the third year of growth. First, I will go through some videos and images for each month. Then I will show some graphs. In April, the trees ranged from 31 to 61 inches tall. There was no growth over the winter. In May, the trees ranged from 31 to 64 inches tall, and there was up to 6 inches of growth. In June, they ranged from 37 inches to 68 inches tall, and the maximum growth was 4 inches. In July, they ranged from 40 to 76 inches tall, which was up to 8 inches of growth. And here's August. We've just been looking at a few trees on the end, so here's a rundown of how all 23 trees are looking. And in August, they ranged from 46 to 85 inches tall, which was 9 inches of growth. This was the best of the year. In September, they ranged from 51 to 93 inches tall, which was up to 8 inches of growth. That's still some strong growth. In October, they ranged from 50 to 94 inches tall, which was up to 1 inch of growth. Growth is really slowing down for the season. And here we are in November. There's a variety in these trees. This one is this tall. It's on the short side, and its neighbor is on the tall side. This one is pretty tall. This one is shorter and wider. It's like a bush. And this one is thinner. Moving down the line, this one's taller, and this one is my tallest. This one still has damage from deer from 2 years ago. And here's my tallest tree. The top is way up here. I can barely reach it anymore. So I just wanted to give you a quick look at some of the variety and character of these 23 trees. Even though they all appeared pretty much the same when I planted them, there's some variation. And for the stats, they range from 51 to 94 inches tall, with a maximum growth of 1 inch. With the vegetation gone and winter here, I put the net fence up again. I've seen the deer around, and it worked well to keep the deer out last year. I will plan on doing a dedicated product review video for this net in the spring. And finally, we've arrived at the end of the year. In December, they still ranged from 51 to 94 inches tall, which was 0 inches of growth. They did not grow at all in December last year either. They are done growing for the winter until next spring. Let's quickly talk about irrigation. You may have noticed a garden hose along the trees. I ran a garden hose the full length and drilled an 1/8 inch diameter hole at each tree. In between the trees, it's buried at ground level, so I can run the lawnmower over it with no issues. I watered them 2 or 3 times a week when there was no rain. Now, let's look at some graphs to see an easier, clearer picture of the growth. Each tree is shown on the x-axis, tree number 1 through tree number 23. The colors correspond to the month that it was measured. Overall, growth was slow the first 3 months. Then it ramped up the next 3 months, July, August, and September. And the last 3 months had little to no growth in October, November, and December. Tree number 1 is 0 because I accidentally ran over it with the lawnmower the first year, but I wanted to keep it in place so the tree numbers match up with previous years. Here's a graph showing the total growth of each tree over the 9 months. This is not the height of each tree, this is how much each tree grew. The additional growth of each tree ranged from 15 inches to 45 inches. And here's the last graph with all 3 years stacked up for complete growth. There's a lot going on, but for each tree, there's the growth for the first year in 2021, the growth for the second year in 2022, and the growth for the third year in 2023. For all 3 years, the growth was slow in April, ramped up in May and June, and peaked in July and August, then slowed down in September and October, and no growth November through May. However, the growth rate increased each year. I experienced 5 to 19 inches of growth the first season, 10 to 31 inches of growth the second season, and 15 to 45 inches of growth the third season. I'm still not quite seeing the advertised 3 to 5 feet of growth per year in every tree, but it is increasing. They say the first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and the third year they leap. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do the next year. So that wraps up the third year. I will continue to track growth and make another video next year. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.